The standards on the left are going to be this high. We're never going to win elections or have any more babies.
On one segment of his show, Bill Maher highlighted a moment from a reality TV program to illustrate just how pervasive wokeness has become in everyday life. Years earlier, Joe Rogan had already issued a warning about this cultural trend, pointing out where it might lead if left unchecked.
Making everything binary. It's you and them. It's us and them. It's all nonsense. It comes from people that want compliance.
We're taking a close look at the full picture. If you consider yourself an independent thinker, make sure to click the subscribe button so you don't miss the discussion. Let's dive in.
And finally, new rule: before they can take on Donald Trump, Democrats have to decide which wing of their own party is best to lead them out of the wilderness. And when I say that, I'm sure you can all guess what recent incident in the news I'm thinking about. The season 8 finale of Love is Blind. Now, if you didn't see it, well, first of all, it's absolutely the best dating show with love and blind in the title. But here's what happened. The bride, an impressive, attractive nurse named Sarah Carton, walked out on her dream wedding to sales consultant Ben Mazengo. They were at the altar, all dressed up, almost to the part where they eat cake and do the electric slide. When Sarah broke the news to her man that she just couldn't go through with it. Had he cheated on her? Abused her? Was he a folk singing Irish vampire? No, it was because of Black Lives Matter. Because if there's one thing we know about the young liberal women of today, it's that they are very, very high.
Low expectations are clearly part of the problem, but the deeper issue is how extreme polarization has become, so much so that even personal relationships, like a marriage, can be strained if someone doesn't publicly support movements such as Black Lives Matter. For observers like Bill Maher, this isn't particularly surprising. Since the mid-21st century, social justice hardliners have gained significant influence, often seeking to marginalize or punish those who disagree with them. The result, critics argue, is a climate that can feel extreme or even unreasonable. To illustrate the absurdity of the situation, Maher shared a scene from his show that perfectly captures how over the top these dynamics have become, demonstrating both the cultural tension and the consequences of taking ideological conformity too far.
While no racist had not done the work on this issue.
When I asked him about it, he was like, I guess I never really thought too much about it.
And that's when Sarah realized she'd rather die alone. Because love isn't blind, it's woke. Well, now, to be fair to Sarah, it wasn't just Black Lives Matter. Ben also didn't have much to say about the vaccine. And his position on trans was basically, I don't know, I guess. Sarah's sister is gay. And when she told that to Ben, Ben said he had, quote, no discomfort around that community at all. Not good enough, Ben! I think what you meant to say is, yeah, I love it.
For those who follow these trends closely, this result isn't surprising. In many progressive circles, simply agreeing isn't enough. You're expected to constantly demonstrate loyalty through virtue signaling to prove you belong. Bill Maher likens this dynamic to what happens on reality shows, where conformity is rewarded and dissent is punished. A clear example is how progressives have repeatedly targeted Senator Ted Lieu, assuming Fetterman refers to him over the years, simply because he doesn't align with the AOC, Bernie Sanders wing of the party. As Maher explored the broader implications, he highlighted several serious issues arising from this mindset, emphasizing how such rigid ideological policing can ultimately be harmful to society as a whole.
Standards on the left are going to be this high, and politics is going to be this much of a block. We're never going to win elections or have any more babies. This inclination from certain liberals to always and immediately excommunicate instead of communicate is what makes them so unlikable. And I'm sorry, Sarah, to make you the poster child for this, but come on. I mean, look at this stiff. What'd you expect? Okay, you're a much better person than he is. You win. And by win, I mean lose. Christ, first we couldn't date people who had opposite political beliefs. Now we can't even date them if they have no opinion at all. It's enough to make you lose faith in finding true love on a reality streaming series. Let's be clear. Ben didn't say, I have thought about Black Lives Matter and I'm with Derek Chauvin. No. He said, I'm young and dumb and full of fantasy football stats. Could we just talk about it? I'm sorry, I'm not up to the part of my life yet where I give a shit about the issues. Should he? Of course. We all should do a lot of things. I should meditate and finish Moby Dick and learn to get to sleep without a gummy.
Given the explicit antinatalist stance embraced by some on the left, Bill Maher's discussion about choosing not to have children is especially noteworthy. Certain activists argue that people should completely stop having kids due to environmental concerns, a viewpoint that, in Maher's view, is often taken to extremes. Movements like the voluntary human extinction movement even advocate for a global population decline for ecological reasons. The challenge, Maher points out, is that most people live outside of these activist bubbles. They have families, careers, and responsibilities to manage. As he remarked, they had families, responsibilities, and real lives to build, highlighting the gap between ideological purity and practical everyday realities.
But maybe Ben hasn't turned his life over to being a social justice warrior yet because he's preoccupied with trying to get his life going. Possibly because he's worried about having the means to support the woman he thought he was going to marry, who seems rather demanding and particular. And if you jilt a guy for not thinking enough about Black Lives Matter, just tell me this. What have you actually done that made any more of a difference in any black life than what your inadequate ex-fiancé did? I asked Senator Adam Schiff here last week when the subject of Trump's sliding poll numbers came up. Okay, but how are the Democrats going to blow it this time? This is how. Posturing, purity tests, the politics of I unfriend you if you're not exactly with me 1,000%. Barack Obama used to preach that the perfect is the enemy of the good. Yeah, it's also the enemy of getting laid.
That's the conclusion many commentators are drawing. Widespread fatigue with political correctness and the reluctance to have honest conversations played a significant role in decisive 2024 victory. Traditional exit polls may not capture this factor since they tend to focus narrowly on policy positions, but observers argue that the far left's culture of self-censorship within the Democratic Party had a tangible effect. Many voters felt frustrated by the constant scrutiny or chastisement simply for speaking their minds. Interestingly, Bill Maher is only now fully recognizing this shift, even though he has highlighted related issues in the past. Meanwhile, Joe Rogan seemed to anticipate this cultural trend long before it became widely apparent. And he spoke about it without hesitation, calling out the consequences for free discussion and public discourse.
Here's what we got to stop looking for things that make you angry, and just try to let things go and just be nice to each other. That's the thing. They're denying the individual, and they're making everything binary. It's you and them. It's us and them. It's 1 and 0. It's not. There's no room for nuance.
Yeah.
There's no room for the complexity that is the human race. It's all nonsense. It comes from people that want compliance. This is the whole thing about woke culture is people that felt like they've been pushed around. They felt like they've been bullied. They felt like they've been maligned. They haven't been treated fairly. And now they want to turn it on you. And they don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck if you're a white man. I don't give a fuck what your opinion is. Shut your fucking mouth. And they feel like they can say that because this culture emboldens people by letting people get away with nonsense, by letting people say things like that. Like walking away. Like if I owned a restaurant and someone walked in with a shirt like that, I'd be like, get out of it.
This is a clear example of how woke culture can operate. It's notable that Bill Maher is now acknowledging the broader impact it has on society. Critics argue that this mindset is outdated, restricting people from expressing themselves freely and injecting politics into parts of life where it doesn't belong. For years, many have gone along with it out of fear, afraid of losing a job, being quietly excluded from social circles, or in some extreme cases like reality TV, even facing personal consequences such as marital strife for saying the wrong thing. What do you think about this dynamic? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the discussion. Thanks for visiting, and I hope to see you again soon.